Yes, I don't for mamu na kwaba. I don't platform we as host na J. And I want me a born in Puno or fine ya do see out for a summoner. I critical. And they say Tafo MP friend say say honorable as if wa Ekow Vicent. Adorye say Hopeson Adorye. Aba be post video be e dia fan ho na do for video ni mu no. Kamya go say will be asabe or daba ye video no e bro. Yen say bre. Na lawyer friend say Martin Beku. Or no so no aba be expose John Dramani Mahama ene na ban. Yenti no so no ede na moy.
Kevin Taylor, when he comes into Ghana, who protects him? It's not national security. You know all the things Kevin Taylor says said against Ekow. You know all the things Kevin Taylor said against Ekow and his appointees. Yet when he comes into Ghana, it's James national security that gives him protection. Please, so this thing, let's stop blowing hot and cold. Jantua herself, she said Ekow is Nebuchadnezzar. Somebody made a song. Ekow is Mampam. Ekow didn't arrest that person. I also kept repeating it. My Mampam friend is Adam Bona. He likes that word. And then other people. Mampam saying that Ekow is stone dead. JJ called Kufuor a thief, a certain president. That's even around the 2000s. So Kufuor didn't arrest JJ, etc. So that thing, we need to understand it well. It's easy to just come and sit there and say, that's not the standard. Yes, I also don't support it. It tells you that people are not happy. Yes, I support JM. I supported him because Ekow couldn't do better. But it doesn't mean if he does some things that are wrong, I will not say it. Just for example, I've told him that no, this extension from 4 years to 5 years is not on. I don't need to insult him. But I'm saying that people in expressing the dissent, sometimes the insults come. It's not the best. But arresting people too is not the best. At the end of the day, you end up arresting the whole society. So let's sit back and see what we can do, because these things, they started, even Kwame Nkrumah met them. You read Kwame Nkrumah's books, people were booing him in the 60s and insulting him. So these things didn't start today. So if you don't understand the cultural context, if you don't understand the cultural context,
Council, right? This is probably not part of our culture. I don't think it is. I mean, insulting elders is not.
It's always been there. It's a lie. Anybody who tells you that it's never been. It's always been there. It's
been there, but also condemned. But because I see the line, yes. I see the line that you draw in the fact that you don't support this action of insulting elders, whether it was then in the former President Ekow or now. But then it is the act of remedying that same action that you don't support, which you are against.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we can condemn those people. That's why I said we can have a national discussion. Let's agree on some modus, maybe naming and shaming, maybe only a fine. If we catch somebody, only a fine. But we should also be careful. Some of the things that are said to be insults, they've become part of our national discourse. We've accepted them. Like the one that you say, God, kill the president. That one is not going back.
That's why I have a bit of a difficulty. We can't normalize. We can't normalize an abnormality.
It's been there for long. No. It's okay. The South African Supreme Court has already shown you, kill the boa. It's a liberation song. So when we say, kum jeje mai, kum Ekow mai, and etc.
And that's why you even talk about, if you talk about culture, it's our way of life. What is may have been accepted in South Africa, you would not accept it here in Ghana.
Oh,
okay.
When we say culture,
it is the reference point that I'm looking at.
So the reference point. You see, you should understand. I'm telling you that song is far older. It didn't start with JJ. I'm telling you that Kwame Nkrumah's time, etc. So let people haven't read. You just come when you're not happy with something. They say this one is not part of our culture. I'm telling you that this thing about how we talk to the presidents, you saw that it's older than even Kwame Nkrumah's time. It was part of the struggle for independence. It's there. Those were some of the things we used to drive out the colonial government. Those were part. So please, when people haven't read, they should stop just coming. You just use your mind. This is not culture. You know how old those tools have been? They are far older. They were part of the struggle for independence. When they were in government, we cautioned them, the bad governance, mampam, all those things. They didn't mind us, right? And then they led us into a ditch, binge borrowing, Oforiata and the president's family making money at our expense, etc. But unfortunately, we don't have any other strong opposition party. They are the strongest. So we are caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay? But because of the overarching need to be able to help keep government accountable and keep the NDC government on its toes, we are forced to, let the NPP brief and then gather themselves well. Because we can't say because of all the bad things they did, then they should just go away. They can't talk at all. No, if we were to do that, this government may also get swollen-headed and may begin to do things that, of course, already people are even grumbling, which is normal because no matter how this government treats us, it's always also important that people continue to complain because it's the complaints that act as the fuel. It's the complaint that acts as the oxygen to be able to cause the government to think harder and to improve our lot. Because all over the world, even the advanced countries, Norway, etc., where the living standards are far better, you still find citizens grumbling. So that is part of nature. You always need citizens to grumble, citizens to complain, so that it will move the government to do better. So for me, it's okay. It's okay. The only other point we should be mentioning is the barrage of insults. Listen, Afenyo Markins, you are nobody, and then Jantua, right? Not saying it negative, it was okay, but unfortunately, hours on, then Nanaya went to Asempa FM and now sought to reply. That one, to be very honest, it leaves a lot to be desired. I think that something has to be done. What Afenyo Markin said, you are nobody. It was similar to what Atuforsen and Sami Jemfi and Co did when they went to present their petition during the Kufuor regime. At that time, the man they keep referring, let's correct this thing, the man they keep referring to as security man, he was a big man in the Air Force, and he was my mate in law school. So when we were even in law school, at that time, he was wing commander. Then after law school, more than 10 years, I'm sure he got several promotions. We can Google and see. That was a big man in the Air Force and a lawyer at that. But when he retired, then he got a job at the Bank of Ghana as head of security. But that's a senior military officer. Asare Boateng. He was my classmate in law school.
Right.
You say. And so the title, you just look at the title and said, so at that time, the NDC said it was disrespectful for Asare Boateng to come and receive their petition. And now, so if Afenyo Markins comes to say, Nanaya is nobody, to be very candid with you, it's not an insult. Look, our democracy is stronger than this. I told you that in 1999, we sang, Kum JJ Maye, Kum JJ Maye, Nyami Kum JJ Maye. And I'm telling you that that song is older. We are not going back. Look, sometimes public discourse need to be caustic. That's how come JM himself called Ekow and Co. Achim Sakawa Mafia. That's what JM said. Who arrested JM? So these things, I think government, the JM has to talk to his people that, listen, they need to develop a tough skin. We've given them positions. They are servants. They should serve well. They are not to lord it over us. So if Afenyo Markin say you are nobody, I don't know how nobody is such an insult. We've moved on. Look, Rollins called Kufuor a thief. Rollins called Kufuor a thief. Yesterday I was just watching that video. Kufuor is a crook, he's a thief, etc. What did Kufuor as president do to Rollins? Why do we have public officers suddenly developing very thin skin? They listen, you are a nobody. What is an insult about nobody? Okay. Well, so that part, I think JM and his people, they need to set by. I think to be very...
that's your, that's your view. But then again, you grant Nanaya Jantua that right of how she feels about it.
Because but she's a public officer. It's not private feelings. I mean, she was standing in for the president. So throughout, she even said it, that she was representing the president. So you don't do well in receiving the petition. Then you go 2 hours later she couldn't temporize. That's when her anger now came out. No, we can't. Remember, look, Anatete, you remember in 2015, Occupy Flagstaff House, when they went to, she did one small tweet, and see how Ghanaians punish NDC for it. So I think that, look, they should look at it. I think an apology will be in order. Let's remember the Anatete. Look, Ghanaians are very shrewd, though. Ghanaians are very savvy. Don't think that that's the end of this episode. Wait, in 2028, when they start playing it back, by then, there would have been a few other mistakes. When they put them together, NDC, they will win the election, but they will be in trouble. So I think that she has to come out and apologize. It's not about her feelings. We've put her in a public office. And in the Constitution, Article 1 says that sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana. So the people of Ghana are the masters. The public officer is not the boss. You are there to serve. So your master says something, you are not happy, there is a way you deal with it. Just remember the Hanatete tweet when Occupy Ghana went to serve during that demonstration. You see how coming to election, they used it. So this particular Jantua video, that's not the end we've seen about it. So I think government should do a bit of damage control. She must come out and apologize for that speech that is unbecoming of a public officer. It cannot be accepted. When I call it, one sentence, you see, let's understand that I'm a private citizen. So I can come up and say, Kufuado, Mampam, etc. We want to hold him account. But the public officer, you are in the saddle. It's different. You can't reply in that way. The citizens, as the sovereign, can say certain things, trying to, right? So the citizens can say certain things and go overboard. But the public officer doesn't have that right of reply to insult back. Yours is to say, oh, my brother, stop this, etc. Give education. As long as you remain in that office. If you want to trade those barbs, then resign and come into private life. Then there can be a clash, but not whilst you are in that public office.
Yes, Adorye. Yes, I can't be saying Hopeson. Do you have a posting the brother be? I ne brother asifua. Baba be posting on. Te say oda baby a wodai. Men kan ne Hopeson Adorye. Ewo top. Video picture yi ene das way. So what you say my hide baby and train on because where's that? O you see any be anwashi. So what you say? Asifua MP for Tafo. What you say? Honorable Asifua ena odas way. Na edie na unia Adorye. What's it then? Rule Hopeson Adorye page, I think it's a Facebook page, and post this picture with. Was it the rule 103? Don't fight against madman sleeping in Broda, especially those from Tafo. So what you say? Now there's a way sene, just say Hopeson Adorye. Ninia, ni MPP nion. And I say, minim how he generated it. And I would not go to ball as well. Say, oh, did the ball as well? Say, oh, yeah, thing. Now to miss an washi and what thing. Take of politics in tea, yet me any of my. Hannah did you make it based in Dobia as he be makram.